Lolita was a young woman with striking beauty. Her long, flowing hair and bright, sparkling eyes made her presence captivating. She was kind-hearted and full of life, always finding joy in the simple things. After getting married, Lolita moved in with her husband, David, who owned a large farm on the outskirts of the town. The farm was vast, with lush green fields, a stable, and a small pond that glistened under the sunlight. It was a place that felt peaceful and alive, a perfect escape from the bustle of the city. One afternoon, a few months after their wedding, Lolita accompanied David to the farm. As they walked through the fields, Lolita spotted a beautiful dog running around freely. It was a husky with a white and black coat, bright blue eyes, and an elegance that immediately captured her attention. She felt an instant connection with the dog, as if they were destined to meet. Lolita turned to David with a bright smile. "I really like that dog. Can we keep him? I'd love to bring him home." David looked at her, seeing the excitement in her eyes. "If you want him, then he's yours," he said warmly. "He's been living on the farm for a while, but I think he'd be happier with you." Overjoyed, Lolita brought the husky home and named him Jockey. She felt a new sense of happiness, and her bond with Jockey grew stronger every day. He quickly became a part of the family, and their daily routine centered around him. Lolita would play with Jockey 4 times a day, taking him outside for long walks, tossing a ball for him to chase, or just running around in the yard. Each playtime was special, a chance for them to share laughter and joy. Jockey was always full of energy, and Lolita found herself looking forward to every moment they spent together. But taking care of Jockey wasn't just about playing. Lolita was meticulous when it came to his grooming. Twice a day, she would bathe him, carefully scrubbing his fur and making sure he was always clean and fresh. She loved the way his coat shined afterward, and Jockey enjoyed the attention and care she gave him. It was as if each bath strengthened their bond, the soothing water washing away not just the dirt, but any stress or worries. For nearly a year, this routine remained unchanged. Lolita and Jockey had become inseparable, and Jockey followed her everywhere she went. If she was in the kitchen, he'd be sitting near her feet. If she was working in the garden, he'd be there beside her, wagging his tail happily. The house was filled with the sound of his playful barks and Lolita's laughter, and David often remarked how much happier Lolita seemed since Jockey had come into their lives. One day, after their usual 4 playtimes and 2 baths, Lolita was lying on her bed, tossing a squeaky toy for Jockey. He would pounce on it and bring it back to her, his eyes full of excitement and love. As she played with him, she would occasionally pull him close and give him a kiss on the forehead. It was a gesture she had grown accustomed to, a way of showing him affection. Jockey would lick her cheek in return, his version of a kiss, and Lolita would giggle. David walked in just then and saw Lolita and Jockey playing on the bed. He paused in the doorway, a smile spreading across his face. Seeing his wife so happy and full of life made him feel content. "You two are like best friends," he remarked, walking over to them. Lolita looked up at him with a bright smile. "He really is my best friend," she replied, hugging Jockey close. "I don't know what I'd do without him," David chuckled. "Well, it's good to see how much you care for him. He's a lucky dog," he said, giving Jockey a pat on the head. However, the next morning, when Lolita and David woke up, they were in for a surprise. Jockey was nowhere to be found. Lolita's heart sank as she looked around the room and called his name, but there was no response. She checked every corner of the house, even the backyard, but there was no sign of him. Her heart raced with worry, and she quickly ran back to David, who was already getting dressed. "David, I can't find Jockey anywhere. I've looked all over the house and the yard. He's gone," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with concern. David could see the panic in Lolita's eyes and put a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Don't worry, we'll find him," he said firmly. "Let's search the farm. He might have wandered off." The two of them spent the entire day searching for Jockey. They called his name, looked through the barns and stables, and even checked near the pond. As the sun began to set, Lolita's hope started to fade. She felt a deep sadness in her heart. It was as though a part of her had gone missing. "Where could he be?" she murmured, her voice breaking. "I've never seen him disappear like this." David hated seeing Lolita so distraught. He had always known how much Jockey meant to her, and now, seeing her on the verge of tears, he felt helpless. But then, an idea came to him. "Lolita," he said, "let's check near the far end of the farm. There's a small wooded area over there. He might have gone exploring." With renewed hope, they made their way to the far side of the farm. As they approached the woods, Lolita saw a movement in the distance. Her heart skipped a beat when she recognized Jockey, but he wasn't alone. Standing beside him was another dog, a female husky with a beautiful silver coat. The two dogs were playing together, their tails wagging excitedly. Lolita's eyes widened in surprise, and she quickly ran towards Jockey, calling his name. As she got closer, Jockey turned and ran to her, barking happily. The female husky followed him, her eyes bright with curiosity. "Jockey, there you are!" Lolita exclaimed, kneeling down to hug him. She looked at the other dog, who stood beside Jockey, wagging her tail. "Who's your new friend?" she asked playfully, reaching out to pet the female husky. David walked over, observing the two dogs. "Looks like Jockey found himself a companion," he said with a chuckle. "I guess that's where he disappeared to." Lolita realized then that Jockey had been feeling lonely. Even with all the love and care she had given him, there were times when he needed the companionship of another dog. Seeing the way Jockey interacted with the female husky, she could sense the happiness in him, a different kind of joy that came from having a friend of his own kind. "Maybe he needed a friend," Lolita said softly, looking at David. "I didn't realize it, but I think he was lonely sometimes. Even though I played with him every day, it wasn't the same as having another dog around." David nodded in agreement. "You're probably right," he said. "Why don't we take both of them home? It looks like they've already become friends." Lolita's face lit up at the idea. "Really? You think we should keep her too?" she asked, excitement in her voice. "Why not?" David replied with a smile. "If she makes Jockey happy, then I think we should give her a home." The couple brought the two dogs back to the house, and Lolita was overjoyed to see Jockey so lively and playful. She named the female husky Luna, and it wasn't long before Luna became a beloved member of the family. The two dogs would run around the yard together, chase after balls, and even sleep side by side in the living room. Lolita continued her routine of playing with Jockey, and now included Luna in their games. 4 times a day, she would take them outside to run and play, their joyful barks echoing across the farm. She also bathed both dogs twice daily, making sure they were always clean and well-groomed. The two dogs seemed to appreciate the extra attention, and Lolita found herself even more in love with them both. Over time, Lolita noticed a change in Jockey. He seemed happier, more content, and full of life. The bond he shared with Luna added a new dynamic to his personality. It was clear that having a companion had made a world of difference, not just for Jockey, but for Lolita as well. Seeing the two dogs together brought a sense of peace to her heart, knowing that Jockey was no longer alone. As the months passed, the house was filled with even more laughter and joy. Lolita realized that while she had loved Jockey dearly, there were moments when he needed the companionship of another dog to feel truly fulfilled. The addition of Luna had brought balance to their lives, and Lolita was grateful for the unexpected turn of events that had led to the beautiful new family they had become. With Jockey and Luna by their side, Lolita and David's life felt even more complete. The farm was not just a place of work anymore. It was a place filled with love, laughter, and the playful spirit of two happy dogs.